Welcome back to another basics GameMaker Studio tutorial, and this time we're gonna clone, we're gonna copy, we're gonna do the same but a little bit different because hey, you cannot directly copy and clone it. A Hotline Miami background, which is basically what you're seeing on the screen, a pretty easy thing to emulate. And I have a hint, it's a little bit to the left, so nudge nudge, wink wink. This isn't the one thing which you need to change, and boom, we are making a pretty sweet background color. So if you like this kind of stuff, hey, why not subscribe to my channel and share and like, that would be amazing. Alrighty, so let's go into the good stuff. And one thing before we start it, if you go onto my website and community, and for example, if you want to have a different series which I'm gonna begin after Wednesday, because after Wednesday this poll is over. So if you want to topple this over, for now we are still Hotline Miami 29%, so that's why I'm actually doing this video, so to give you a pre-taste what is happening in this series. But if you want to do one of the other ones, this is the time now. Alrighty, so let's go into the good stuff, because we don't need too much things. So let's copy paste that away. Boom. We need just two colors, and then we're gonna change the hue. And if you're thinking hue, what is this? Not sure about this. Hey, let's go and do a little color theory. So if you have the GM color picker, link in the description below, then you see this thing which you see in the tons of photo editing programs. You have a color picker, and normally you just go with RGB values, so between 0 and 255, so this is the max value, and boom. But let's say you want to go through all the colors, so if you go like this, it would be kind of difficult to distinguish it by RGB values. So how can we make this easier? Well, we use the right thing, which is this guy here, hue, saturation and value. To give you a little introduction to that, for example, if we change this value all the time, this is our hue. So let's go, for example, for, I don't know, a 0 value, then we go and let's go down and up, and as you can see, this is the end result color. So we just need to cycle through one value. And of course, if we want to have it to be really popping, and therefore we use the S value, which is saturation. Then we go top left, and of course value 255. Then we make the color very, very strong. But let's say we want to make it a little bit less saturated. So this is when pictures are a little bit gray and stuff. Hey, then we, let's say, go for example to 120 and 120. So come on, 120, 120. We just go with something like this, and then the colors are not too strong. Alright, so let's dive into another thing. So basically what we're gonna do for now, we are having a camera which is following the player. So this thing is moving, and therefore we just need a few things from it. And what do we need? First of all, the X and Y position, because that thing is changing its position all the time because it's moving. And then of course we need the width and the height, so we need to grab those things. So let's go into GameMaker and actually grab those guys. And for that, well, we can store that into some variables, call them camera X, and then I don't know, how can we get this? Well, camera get, so camera get, then view, and here we go, X, and then what kind of camera? So let's type that in, because hey, it's actually the easiest way, this way. And then which one? 0, because this is the default one. And then, well, we can grab like this, the X position, the Y position, the width and the height. And of course here we go for whoop, de-doop. Alright, sweetie. Yeah, now we got this correct. So basically we grabbed the X and Y position, which is relative all the time. Then we grab the width and the height of the camera. Sweet. So what do we want to do with those values? Well, we want to draw a rectangle. So draw a rectangle, but we want to draw the color. And for that you have a few input parameters. So first of all, the X and Y positions. So for that we need 4 points, and then we have 4 colors. And what you need to understand is that the first 2 colors, so this is top left, then top right, then bottom right and bottom left. So we go in a circle like this, and therefore we define a gradient. And therefore our first colors, our first 2 ones, are the one which we are changing, so color 1. And then the second ones, so color 3 and color 4, which is sitting at the bottom, will get a static color, which is just C black, so basically a black color. Of course, if you can change this up if you like, but I guess this is how it works in Hotline Miami once again. So without further ado, let's input those things. So camera X, and then camera Y as positions. Let's make this nicer so we can see this a little bit better. And we just add as our second X position the width, and to our height, of course, the height. So here, boom, we have our rectangle spawned in the correct positions, and of course this will update all the time. And now we just say like, hey, we need some colors, and for that, well, we just put in color 1, and then a second and a third and fourth color, well, the second one in there. And then outline, well, no, because we want to spawn the whole rectangle, and this is pretty easy. And here, what else do we need? So first of all, we grabbed our camera's positions, we are drawing our rectangle, and for now the color 1 isn't defined, and so therefore we need to define it. And how can we do this? Well, with a neat little function which is called make color. Come on. And then you can say, hey, color SVH or RGB. So basically you can input RGB values or hue, saturation and value, and this will convert it into the GameMaker specific something special color version. Don't ask me about this because this is kind of convoluted. Don't want to answer that. And here we just need to input 3 parameters. The hue, so this is our hue value, boom, and this one we will update all the time because we want to change it. So once again, what was the hue value? Come on, that was this thing here. So along from going to red to, I don't know, the spectrum of red once again. And therefore what do we want to do? We want to update it. I don't know, let's go for some small values. So let's go, for example, 0.2. And then of course if you want to flash it a little bit higher, then well, give it a higher value, and therefore we need to input that, and then therefore saturation and value low. So once again, to see this visually, because hey, this is I guess the easiest way. If you want the colors to pop a lot, we could of course go and say like, hey, 255 and 255, which isn't looking too good. So we can actually show this. So let's go, boom, boom. And for example, now we actually could be finished, but of course I showed it you the wrong way. So as you can see, it is still okay, but the colors are way too bright and they give a too high contrast. Therefore, we need to ramp down the saturation. Of course, if you ramp it down really hard, so let's go, I don't know, 10, then this thing is almost black. I guess, yes, let's check it out. Yeah, as you can see, the colors are slightly changing if there are any, so therefore we need to find the sweet spot. I would say 120, but of course this is up to you. And then we're pretty much finished. This is it. As you can see, it does work. For example, if you zoom, then this area at the bottom is still kind of black, and this area of course has the color. And if you're saying like, I don't want this area to be too black, then what you can do, you can actually input a buffer variable. I don't know, buffer, then let's say 60 pixels, and those 60 pixels we will add to the positions here. So let's go for another color. So we say like, hey, we are spawning our drawing rectangle around that, and therefore we need to go 60 pixels to the left and up, and of course here one also. So we're just gonna add this very quickly, hopefully very quickly. So let's go minus 60 and minus this 60, but of course you can change the value here and then it will apply there. So this is the part which I wanted to give in. Of course you can just go with hard values, but dynamic code is king here. And for example, once we start it again, we will see less of this blackish area. It is still there, but of course, as you can see now, it is less dominating. So here you can just play around with those buffers and then we're pretty much fine. And one last thing before we end this, but because what you're going to see here, we're going to run into a little problem, not really difficult, but let's say we are changing the colors. Now we are greenish, sweet. Now we go into some bluish color, and then at some point it will stick around. So as you can see, hue is going up and going up, but then at some point it will go over 255, and then we need to reset it because we're gonna have this color forever and ever and ever. There are different ways how you can do this, but I'd say like, hey, let's do it the easiest one. We just say like, hey, if hue is over 255, just reset it to 0. Of course you can do that with modulo or division or whatever, but and now we are pretty much finished. So hopefully you like this, and then we are finished. See you next time. One up in the out.